see right away the high pressing of this side, the identity instilled by new coach Ken Masur, who spent the last 9 seasons at Vanderbilt, 6 of those as the head coach there. Now his first with the Canes. That was whipped in and dealt with by Clarice Foley, one of the 3 changes in the starting 11 for Masur.
And early on, you see Virginia Tech getting into the attack. It's Samantha Guzman down on that flank. She was that one wide player and someone they were looking to find the ball in those pockets.
Strong on the ball. It was Adriana Serna. Untouched Serna was able to put it into the path of Canali, had it taken away. Strong header by Salas, another one of those new faces in the lineup. New face in the game, but a senior on this side, her 5th start this season. Turned by Canali. Comfortable on the ball. The run wasn't there from Serna on this steer side. 3-5-2 overall for a 0-3-1 in ACC play. They have played, as you mentioned before kickoff, they've been better than their record suggests. Been in every game against some of the top teams in ACC. Weir trying to create for herself this time, Weir, and had it poked loose inside the 18. Sent away by Lauren Hargrove. Senior goalkeeper for the Hokies. One of 2 players to win ACC Defensive Player of the Week honors for Virginia Tech this season. The other being Allie George. Canali. A little heavy on the pass, and this will lead to a goal kick for Virginia Tech. Has all the tools to be a special player for the Canes. The young freshman Giovanna Canali, who was part of that Brazil U20 side that won the South America U20 Championship in Colombia. 4 goals in her last 3 games. She scored 2 against SMU, 2 more at Cal. And came up just short. Here's the Guzman. Long throw into the 18, and it's McCartney who was there to deal with the danger. And Virginia Tech on the front foot, and they'll get a corner kick out of it. This is an area where Ken Masur told us have to improve. Defending set pieces, dead ball situations have been an adventure. And it's an area where Virginia Tech can absolutely capitalize.
And Dre, that's not something we even have talked about yet, but just how dangerous Virginia Tech has been on corners, and set pieces are placed, just like you said. Miami knows they have to be tighter, and they're searching for answers on how to defend these better.
Oh, swinging by Skyers, dangerous into the near post and punched away convincingly. This one will roll out for a goal kick. Foley was challenged at the near post.
And it's interesting, when we talked with Ken Masur, he mentioned the left-footed ball in from Skyers on a corner. And still, Miami not able to completely clear it. They were able to get a bit lucky there, just with Arango not able to connect and strike through the ball. But that's definitely an opportunity. We've seen early on Virginia Tech going to the corner. De Guzman has had some success creating on that right side. And that's an area, if they're not going to create, and if it's going to end up in corners, Miami's going to have to be tighter.
Picked up by Serna, Nicholson. It's clever by Kay. Virginia Tech 8-3-1 overall and 3-1-0 in ACC play. Had one defeat to Boston College, but they bounced back against Louisville. Has them 4th in the conference at the moment. Canali just ran out of real estate. This will be a throw for Virginia Tech.
And Canali's doing the right thing. She's in the right place because that ball, George is facing backwards and looks to play it back, and she cuts that one off. It's a bit unlucky with the deflection, but she's in the right place, and that's showing just small little changes that are making big differences right now for Miami, because they're willing to do the work on the defensive side. And if that ball's picked off and stays on her foot, that could easily be a connection going the other way.
McCartney was first to arrive on the loose ball. Long throw down the touchline. Crosby Nicholson, the midfield, they're able to win so many of those 50-50 duels in the air, in the early going, those loose balls. Canali with her back to goal. Finds Alarcon. Kind of weird to start the charge for the Hokies. The Guzman out wide. Weir, options in front of her. Good show of patience from Virginia Tech to hold on to possession. Didn't try and force anything. Lewis. Pelkowski, an influential figure in that central midfield area, midfield destroyer for the Hokies. And this will trickle into the hands of Foley in goal. The combination on the near side is Young trying to unlock this Virginia Tech defense. Well, welcome into those of you joining us following Pitt against Clemson. We're in Coral Gables, UM hosting Virginia Tech at this ACC women's soccer matchup. Virginia Tech looking to improve on an already stellar conference record, 3 wins and 1 defeat. Miami looking for their first conference win. I'm Trey Cordero, joined by Morgan Bowen. And Morgan, a chance to see what may be, in terms of their play, one of the more improved teams in the league in Miami, and they're trying to turn those moral victories into actual ones. Tonight would be a big scalp to claim. A look at the 11 for Miami with 3 changes from the side that just narrowly lost to Cal in their last matchup, and a good look there at their new coach, Ken Masur.
And this is a Miami team they're doing the work. We've talked about they were wanting an identity. This team was screaming out to figure out who are they as a team. And Ken Masur has done a fantastic job because they have competed in every single game, and their record does not show how difficult they are to play against. Already 10 minutes into this game, we're seeing how organized they are, and also how they're willing to do the work on the defensive side and get players behind the ball. But then they're able to create and move forward. But I think something I've been most impressed with.
Look out, it's plucked out of the air by Hargrove. Miami with their first dangerous approach.
Well, and it's something that set up some of their approaches is how they've been able to win the battle in the midfield and challenge in the midfield. So it's been a player tonight already, Crosby Nicholson, has been really good for them, just kind of cleaning stuff up and moving the ball side to side. And a lot of their buildups have started with balls that they've won, whether in their just over midfield or in the attacking third.
It's very much what they want to do, isn't it? Win the ball high up the pitch, a short field to counter on, putting pressure on Virginia Tech. And here's a look at the starting 11 for Chugger Adair. 18th season with the Hokies, his 14th as their head coach, and only 1 change in the 11 from the side that picked up that big 5-1 win over Louisville. It's Ava Orengo who steps in. She's expecting to get significant minutes after the injury to Voren in midfield. The rest is as they were, including Taylor Price, who was the hat-trick hero in that victory against the Cardinals. Morgan, how much does that idea behind high pressing, winning the ball high up the pitch, play into the fact that Miami have smaller dimensions on home field than a lot of the other teams in the ACC? It's a challenge for visiting teams. It's something that Chugger Adair talked about when he spoke with us in the lead up to this contest. That the ball seems to go out of play quite a lot.
Well, that's always been a conversation with teams that are playing at Miami, and I think it's smart of Miami to almost make that part of their identity. And in the past, it's felt like that has become because it was a way that they could win, but now they are not just choosing to high press and try to win the ball up the field because of the field that they play on. It's because of the personnel that they have, and they know they can do that in different places. Ken Masur mentioned they played at Stanford, the Farm. That field is massive, and they were still able to make that game very competitive and barely falling in that one. So this is a team that they are bought in, and they're hungry, and also when they do turn the ball over, they're creating really dangerous chances, and they're also able to score, and that's a big difference from previous years.
Started out with a 3-1 defeat to number 2 Virginia. After that, they held SMU to a 3-all draw. Narrow defeat against Stanford, 1-0 on the road, and then away to Cal. 2 goals by Giovanna Canali. Came up just short and suffered a 3-2 defeat in that.
And let's also talk about the fact that that's probably one of the hardest travel schedules as well, going from Miami all the way across to California, and also just playing them early in the season too. So when they've just joined the ACC, so obviously Stanford and Cal are really wanting those results even more so. So that's also something that I don't think you can completely see on the score sheet, but I'm also very impressed with how they competed in those games when you add the travel factor into it.
And they got a very good look at the brand new teams in the ACC, back to back against SMU, Stanford, and Cal.
I mean, we talked about in the Open, Miami almost feels like a new team with the ACC as well. So there you go. Early in the season, just get it going.
They're laying it off. The Guzman. And it's blasted away by Salas at the back. No nonsense clearance. Double zeros for both goalkeepers. Lauren Hargrove in the VT goal and Clarice Foley, a redshirt freshman for Miami. Tori Grambo. Seems a couple of times now Miami have lacked a little width in attack on this near side. Balls delivered either via through balls or long balls out of the back to no one in particular. Morgan, good time to visit our keys to the game, starting with Virginia Tech.
Yeah, we mentioned finding the wide channels. It's almost more wide pockets because they're going to look for they play a diamond midfield, so they're going to look for their 2 wider players who do tuck in central to be able to pop wide and get the ball. We've seen Samantha Guzman work up the right side, and it's because she's finding space and forcing the outside back for Miami to step to her. So that's what they're going to need to do, and they have to transition quickly. If they can move the ball forward, we're seeing them build up a little bit more, but if they can win that ball in transition, can they go quickly, catch Miami out of position? Because they know they also have to be able to put those opportunities away. They know this one is going to be a difficult game. It was interesting when we talked with Chugger Adair, he was sharing how once Miami can get their footing, they are going to be a team that can continue to disrupt the ACC, and essentially was saying he hopes they don't find their footing tonight because this is a team, when you look at Miami, that is right on the edge. And on the flip side for Virginia Tech, if they have the opportunities, they have to put them away.
Allie George flying up that far side. How about the keys for Miami?
We've mentioned it a lot already, but press. They have to put this back line and also the holding midfielders. We talk about Emma Palkowski for Virginia Tech. Can they put pressure on her? You have Ava Arango stepping into the lineup for the Hokies as well. Can you put her and the back line under pressure? And then we also mentioned it early. We saw how they did against a corner early. It wasn't, there's still opportunity, but they were able to clear the ball. They have to be able to defend set pieces. Virginia Tech gets a fair amount of corners in games. Miami has struggled on all sorts of set pieces this season. They have to match up, win aerial battles, and the biggest thing too is that second ball. It has to be cleared because you know the Hokies will be looking to put that one away.
Kelly battling for possession. She was beaten out on that occasion by Marshall, who had come a long way out from that back line. Virginia Tech looking for the opener. Wide to the near side for Skyers. There's the last touch by Skyers. This will be a throw for UM.
And I like this idea, but it just got caught up a bit before that ball went to Skyers. She was on the first look. It just took a beat, and then she was almost flat-footed and waiting, and it allowed the Miami defender to slide over and get into the tackle.
Pukowski. Gallagher. Grambo into the middle. Lovely first touch to control by Crosby Nicholson. Kay. Promising approach this time from the Hurricanes. And Kay making inroads, so take it herself, and it's into the hands of the goalkeeper Hargrove. First little shot across the bow from UM, and it's courtesy of the left back, Jessica Kay.
I was going to say, and it's a deep run from an outside back. Jessica Kay, really good, just beating players, breaking lines. Virginia Tech has to be able to put her under pressure and slow her down because Kay's going with pace, and it's a good look on frame.
Miami at the moment playing their best passage of play in the early going of this game.
Well, and what that last opportunity showed for Miami is they can create off the dribble.
Oh, look out. Virginia Tech's in behind now, and they could find the opener. Denied! Hargrove with a 1v1 save to keep it level.
And this is a really nice slip ball in. It's actually the forward Rosenbaum who drops off, and it's Mitchell coming up more from that deeper midfield position. A really nice run. You see her put her arm out. She wants it in space, takes a left-footed touch to prep herself, but Foley does a nice job coming off her line, closing that space, taking her angle out.
So two forwards combining Rosenbaum with a through ball for Mitchell, and Foley on alert.
Yeah, I really like the way those two players were able to work together there, right? You see Mitchell, she's a little bit deeper in that moment, and it allows for that run to come through. Rosenbaum does a nice job connecting.
At the top of the contest about how Virginia Tech have distributed the goals. No one's really, claimed that top scoring consistently honors. It's Mitchell with 3 and Weir with 3. Price has 4 now after a hat trick against Louisville. She's on the bench. Still a high-powered offense that could strike through a variety of sources, including the fullback Ali George, who has 3 in her own. Former striker. Attacking midfielder early on at Virginia Tech, and she's filling in that role now at outside back. Here's Rosenbaum again. Lead off neatly for Weir. To Guzman. Well, here's our next ACC Network women's volleyball match, and it's a great one. The number 4 Louisville Cardinals hosting number 19 Georgia Tech. Coverage for that begins this Sunday at 1:30 p.m. Eastern, right here on ACC Network. Miami have a throw on the far side. And Virginia Tech putting on the pressure. Loose ball won by Gallagher. Be having a hard time finding Canali now, UM, after everything. Every early possession went through the feet of their number 9. Here's Alarcon. And it is Canali, the intended target. Skyers there to clean up at the back. Strong header by Grambo. And appeared to be last touched by Miami. It's Adriana Serna.
Your attention, please. Substitution for Virginia Tech.
So Taylor Price, again, fresh off of her first career hat trick against Louisville, and will slot into the game. She'll take over from Sam de Guzman.
In the 22nd minute.
And right away, she's involved.
Well, and with that change too, you see her slot up to the more of a high forward position with taking out de Guzman, who is more of that right midfielder, and it looks like they've moved Natalie Mitchell back a bit into the midfield. So we already saw some really good combinations between Rosenbaum and Mitchell, and now I'm curious what that looks like adding Price into the mix as well, because Virginia Tech's had some success creating those combinations and almost building up through the center of the field when we expected more of it to come from the width.
Price with the 3 goals against Louisville, the first Virginia Tech hat trick since 2021. There's that short fielded counter now, and Canali has beaten 1, but still an Army behind. And the through ball doesn't find its target. Cerna against Skyers. And Skyers stands her ground. It's going to roll all the way back for Foley. He's made 1 big save in this game to keep it at 0-0. Denying Natalie Mitchell the would-be opener.
We've seen Miami try this longer ball a time or two, and it doesn't look to be on right now. They've had most of their success when they've found the feet either through the midfield or finding Canali, because she's been able to get the ball and she can turn and go right at the Virginia Tech back line. I want to see more of that. I want to see them create on the dribble, because they've proven when they have their players breaking lines individually on the dribble, the defenders of Virginia Tech are almost having trouble accounting for when to step to the player and then when to stay with their runners.
Anytime Kozarski gets muscled off the ball, it'll be a throw for Virginia Tech. Just over 20 minutes remain in this opening half. Virginia Tech 0, Miami 0. Cerna. There's Jessica Kay, who had the best opportunity so far for the Canes. Gallagher will chase this one down. Miami covering well for each other, making it difficult for Virginia Tech to gain ground. Hokies have a throw out of it. One or two shouts for a handball, nothing given. A beautiful turn by Canali, who's now driving at the final defender to beat. Defense holds up just enough. Sense of anticipation every time that Giovanna Canali touches.
Well, this is the last opportunity for Miami, the one before, and I was saying how they need to find that ball into Canali, let her turn, and this is exactly what she does, and she's on the dribble. So if you can find her feet, can she turn and get at that back line? And then on the flip side, Virginia Tech, I love this from Anna Weir. She has the ball, cuts into that inside. If that ball can have a little bit more bend towards the back post, it's a really good look on frame, but I like the fact that we see 2 back-to-back players, 1 for each side, going straight at defenders and taking them on. That is what's proven for both sides to give them their opportunities thus far.
In the sense that the feeding out period is over and both sides now going after it. JJ Ndaw will slot in for Miami. She'll replace Adriana Cerna. JJ Ndaw, who made her debut for the Senegal national team back in July. Coming in off the bench, the first change for Ken Masur. And she'll get involved early. Sent away by Skyers. Here's Grambo. Kay had it just poked loose. This will be a throw for the Canes. Deep in Virginia Tech territory. And Daw, it's a clever ball in, searching ball into the 18. It's Gallagher who was closest to it.
Well, Virginia Tech almost got lucky because it's a really good ball played across from Endon. And it didn't look like they were ready defensively. They were just able to kind of deflect it out of danger.
Slightly overhit by Alada Cohen, who was looking for the newly introduced JJ Endon. What an introduction that would have been, to step in and assist the opener. Your impressions of what we've seen this first half from these two sides?
Overall, it's what I've expected, but it still has been good to see, especially for Miami. I did expect them to come out and make this a competitive game, but not just because they're working hard and they're difficult to get around. They're really creating, and I've been incredibly impressed with their work on the defensive side and also being willing to battle and challenge in the middle.
Tanner Price appeals for the foul. We'll get a better look at it here.
Well, and it's Salas. It looked like both thought this ball was going to go out, and then when it didn't, Price is the one with the quick speed, and then Salas just comes in from behind, clips her a bit as she knocks it out. But both players slowed down, expecting it to go. And this is a place Miami cannot afford to give up a set piece because it's a dangerous area. There's going to be runners. You know Virginia Tech has players who can put it away. And they just have proven that this is an area that they're a bit weaker in most of their matchups for Miami.
It's an area where Mansour said they have to improve. He said he called everyone across the country that he could for help on set pieces. And swinger back post, and it's overhit.
Well, and that's just something then on the flip side, as Virginia Tech, that ball has to stay in bounds. You have to be able to give your team an opportunity. Natalie Mitchell, you know you're going to have her in a dangerous area. She has to be able to play that ball where it stays in bounds. Maybe it's a deflection. Maybe you find someone on the back post. But just sending that one out, Miami's able to take a big, deep breath on that.
Quarter of an hour left in this opening half. Both sides in search of the breakthrough. 4 shots in the game so far for Virginia Tech. 1 for Miami. It was fullback Jessica Kay who tested the gloves of Lauren Hargrove. Skyers. It's well anticipated by Tori Grambo, turning defense into attack and trying to catch the goalkeeper off her line. Floats and hangs in the air for Hargrove.
You win the ball. Can she pick her head up and roll it into the foot? Is it going maybe into Canali? Is it going into Endow? But can she pick her head up, see where her player is versus expecting that ball to be in behind? Because tonight it's proven that ball has not been in behind. The long one is probably most likely not going to fall. You also know the field's more narrow, so there's not as much space. So can she roll that and then allow her forward to turn and go?
One big difference, as you point out, has been that Virginia Tech defense has been able to keep those dangerous players of Miami in front of them, whereas we've seen 1 or 2 breaks from the Hokies who did get in behind. So Grambo to put it back in play. Nicholson. Strong in the middle from Pelkowski, who's won it back. That workmanlike attitude. 1 of 2 Virginia Tech players who have eclipsed the 5,000-minute mark. It's Emma Pelkowski, senior out of Westchester, Pennsylvania. Very much in that old school Virginia Tech DNA.
Pelkowski's been such a huge part of this midfield for Virginia Tech during her career. And when you have a player that's played over 5,000 minutes, they've seen a lot in college soccer, and she's made an impact for sure. And she's also not the biggest player, but the way that she takes up space and makes herself known in the midfield for them, she is that worker bee. They are a blue-collar team, and she definitely embodies that. Keeps things going for them. Almost you could call her the engine of the team. and she's someone that they've absolutely relied on a lot throughout her career.
Making her 68th start today. She started 68 of the 69 games she has played for Virginia Tech. So Ella Valente checks in to give Anna Weir a breather. And Kendall D'Amelio, who started the game against Louisville, steps in for the final few minutes of this opening half. She takes over from Ava Arengo, who replaced her in the 11. It's collected by Rosenbaum. Price. And they swarm on her quickly. Taylor Price. Suspect she'll have plenty of attention given to her after that hat trick against Louisville. Virginia Tech looking to finish the opening half strong. Valente. It's crossed in. Moves across the mouth of the goal. A chance for the opener. It's collected by Foley, who made herself big and closed down the angle to deny Taylor Price.
The Hokies were patient here. They're able to knock the ball wide. It's not a bad ball in, but it's actually the deflection that then pops this ball over the top to just awaiting Taylor Price. She knows it right when she hits it. It's not a clean strike. She was wide open. So defensively, Miami, they have to know where that far post runner is because they were very fortunate there.
It was Ella Valente's ball that created the danger.
And you see the way Valente, she tries to bring this back at an angle, but it's definitely that deflection that puts it right into the line for Price. And there was also another far post runner, but that's when Price has to be able just to step through it and put it home.
Canali had it poked loose. Not the most convincing header that time from Salas. Foley able to get there and send it away. Gallagher complaining of a foul, the whistle silent.
Out number 9, Giovanna Canali. In number 17,
Valente. That's given away to JJ and Dawn. A little hesitant to go forward. Salas. Lovely touch to settle it from JJ and Daw. And the ball just rolled beyond the touchline. A flash of skill from the Senegalese international. Go on.
Yeah, I agree with you there. She did look a bit hesitant to go forward, but then I love how she kept her run going forward and was ready for that combination. It just didn't look like the second ball was there, but you see her here again. She's a player, she's going to hold it up and then look to play back and build forward. I like what she's brought into the game.
Rosenbaum sends it out wide. Shot from distance is maybe tipped over by Foley. Did she get a touch onto it? And it will be a corner kick for Virginia Tech. Flash of danger from Natalie Mitchell.
And Mitchell just cuts this ball in on her left foot. She gets a little lucky because there's a slip from a Miami player. And it's a nice connection with her left foot. I almost think she could have continued forward and taken more of that space when the player went down. But a good save from Foley.
And a Virginia Tech side that are 6th in the nation with 8 corner kicks per game. A conveyor belt of chances on these corners. And swinger back post into a crowd. There's Canali. Loose inside of the 18, and it's finally gathered up by Foley.
And that's well done defensively for Miami to be able to regroup and send a defender and limit that second chance opportunity. Maybe they weren't completely organized on the corner. It's getting better, but because what I'm most impressed with is just how they were able to regroup and win the second ball, because that's sometimes what can be most dangerous when you look at set pieces as a whole.
Some 98 corners on the season for Virginia Tech. Grambo. She's been the busier of the two fullbacks, Tori Grambo. And we did see Jessica Kay make that brilliant run, picking the ball up in her own half and going the distance to create what was, to date, the Canes' best chance of the match. Here she is again.
Dre, I was just going to say we should see Kay get forward a little bit more, and then she gets on the ball and looks to create. I think we've seen her a bit more quiet, though, because we saw Natalie Mitchell slide to that right side for her, matched up with Kay on the left for Miami. So that has made her a bit more quiet because she's been caught defending and hasn't been able to attack with the ball as much. But for Miami, she is an unlock because she's not afraid to dribble through the midfield at that back line. So I would look to continue to feed her the ball, and can she create? But they have to be able to have the ball and shut down Mitchell to be able to do that.
Goals can come from so many different directions on this Virginia Tech team.
Your attention, please.
And some changes coming in. It's Sophie Maltese, who replaces Sarah Rosenbaum.
Sarah Rosenbaum in number 22, Sophia Maltese. Out number 24, Natalie Mitchell.
Natalie Mitchell will also get a breather.
And substitution for Miami.
She's replaced by Taylor Lewin. So it's a line change in attack for Virginia Tech, while Caroline Hood will step in for Kylie Gallagher on the Miami side, number 7 for 21.
Out number 21, Kylie Gallagher, and number 7, Caroline Hood.
Grambo to put it back in place. She was a center mid in her playing days at UF. Now fullback and a wing back on this Miami team. Hood, fresh legs, won't be able to get there. It's interesting, in modern soccer we see so often fullbacks become center mids. It almost makes sense to get former central midfielders and see what they can do out wide.
And it is an interesting time to switch a player later in their career into an outside mid position, but it's also nice, you can see the way Miami plays, to have the vision of a center midfielder to be able to be on that wing and as they look to add into the attack. But what I've been impressed with is Grambo's ability to defend, because I think she's been pretty good 1v1 and attached to that back line.
Carney sends it wide now for Kay. I'll let her go into lost sight of the ball for a moment. Leon. Here's our Week 6 ACC Network College Football lineup beginning on Saturday noon Eastern Time with 4-1 Boston College squaring off against 3-1 Virginia in Charlottesville. After that, it's Stanford hosting Virginia Tech. And we kept the night off with 5-0 Duke taking on Georgia Tech at 8 p.m. Eastern on ACC Network and, of course, on the ESPN app. 5 to play in this opening half in Miami. Virginia Tech and UM looking for the opening goal, and this is handled by Foley, who's been the busier of the two goalkeepers, denying Taylor Lewin.
Taylor Lewin does a nice job finding space. She slips in behind her center midfielder and the center back, and she has acres of space there and also puts a really nice strike on this ball. She keeps it low, but I'm impressed with the way Foley didn't have anything bounce back off. It looks like there could have been a second chance on the rebound, but Foley does a nice job picking that one up.
It's been goalkeeper by committee this season for UM, with Foley holding her own. 6 saves so far. And that's just beyond the reach.
Your attention, please. Substitution for your Miami Hurricanes. Out number 8, Sierra Adcon. In number 10.
So Julia Edwards checking in for Miami, the veteran for the Canes.
In the 40 for Smith.
One of the unsung heroes on this team. She's a grad student now. 66th appearance for UM. Her 11th this season. Her minutes have dropped. Still finding ways to make an impact through her leadership, through her influence.
And Dre, we had a really good conversation with Ken Messer, and when we asked about Julia Edwards, he was sharing how, yes, her minutes may have dropped, but he said there's a reason she's our captain as a senior, and he said she is contributing in every way you could imagine, and just spoke a lot about her presence in the locker room. And probably one of the coolest parts of our conversation is he filled us in when he was chatting with her earlier this week, and they were talking about her career, how it is coming to an end, and she essentially was just saying how her goal at Miami has been to leave the jersey better than it was when she found it. And I think that speaks so highly of the person and the player, that the role that she plays. And just hearing that, there are no questions. You get why she's the captain. Even if she doesn't get that many minutes, it makes sense.
It's the kind of line that gives you chills.
I got chills when you said it. Got chills again. Absolutely. I mean, that's all you can ask for when there's a player that has been through a lot in her career, and this is a year that Miami can really and has been able to turn it around, and for her to just have that mindset, that's a player every team, they want somebody like that in their locker room.
Hargrove to put it back in play for Virginia Tech, who have been knocking on the door in the course of this first half, and time again saw it slammed shut by Clarice Foley. 7 shots, 6 of them on target. This ball picked up by Valente. Into space, and Lewin won't get there as Jessica Kay does. Edwards. Knocked down by McCartney. Valente. Just quick thinking on the one-touch pass. Not quite able to link up with Taylor Price. Valente this time with her back to goal collects. Lewin out wide, is closed down. Square across edge of the area, and it's flighted over. No danger for Foley this time. It's an errant shot by Sophie Maltese, her first of the game.
Remains in the first half. 1 minute.
Now a senior, Sophie Maltese. She cracked a tooth back in her freshman year when she had a scooter-on-scooter collision with Allie Lewis in her freshman year. Final few seconds of this opening half. And it's still Virginia Tech on the front foot. Nothing to show for it on the scoreline. And it could be Miami to get the final chance of the half. It's Julia Edwards. Lewin.
10, 9, 8, 7,
Pass it forward and last gasp attempt.
4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
And that will do for the opening half at Cobb Stadium. It's Virginia Tech 0, Miami 0 through the first 45. And certainly Virginia Tech with the final checks for the referee Carlos Fernandez before we get the second half underway. The ball rolls at Cobb Stadium in Coral Gables. Second stanza, Virginia Tech 0, Miami 0. After a first 45 minutes with plenty of chances, but lacking in goals. Here's Valente. Morgan, your impressions of what we saw, your highlights of that first 45 minutes in Coral Gables.
Well, it's been a lot of Virginia Tech on the ball, and I don't think that was too much of a surprise with what we saw coming in. I was really impressed with what I saw from a team unit from Miami, but I mentioned it a couple times in the first half. I want to see them make different decisions on the attacking side. I want to see them dribble on the ball and force the Virginia Tech defenders to make some decisions. I don't think the back line of the Hokies has been challenged too much tonight. I think it's been pretty simple with what they've been looking to do with trying to find Canali in behind and occasionally her feet. But can they dribble, force a defender to step, because then it will also open up pockets. But then on the other side, we've seen Virginia Tech create some chances, and I just want to see them be a little bit sharper in the final third.
Even in terms of numbers, there's not been too much to deal with for Virginia Tech defensively. They've always have the numerical superiority when it comes to that final third. Here they are in the attacking third with Valente. Just one shot allowed by Virginia Tech in that first 45 minutes, and it was from the fullback Jessica Kay, who had to put in a lot of work to get there. Soft touch from Canali to collect, and she's found Alarcon. Gallagher, who was checked back into the game, the ball swung in by Grambo. Skyers sending it away, and Miami will have a throw in Hokie territory. Rosenbaum. Strong challenge in the midfield as the ball was raffled up for possession. And running out of real estate was Ali George on this near side. Haven't really seen as much going forward in attack from Ali George. Former attacking player who's now a senior, settled in as that wing back. Polkowski laying it back. Skyers with space and time to think. So decisive with every one of her touches, Canali. She knows exactly what she wants to do with the ball before it arrives.
And that's so impressive from such a young player. She's not intimidated whatsoever of being a freshman in the ACC and playing some of the best talent week over week. She's a player who absolutely has been able to rise to the occasion. But what I'm curious about and what I want to see is when things aren't going her team's way, when they haven't been able to find her consistently, is she able then to elevate and still be a game changer?
Under pressure, but solved it well. Salas. Composed on the ball was Haley Salas. On Rambo. It's a good build-up out of the back by UM. And Alarcon is challenged in the 18. Possession short-circuited for Miami. Worth mentioning once again, Virginia Tech on the season, 122 fouls committed. They have committed 0 fouls today. Of course, they've had the majority of the possession. Miami corner. And a wasted corner at that. The ball was chaperoned out by Canali. Quickly in by Grambo. Another fine turn by Canali in traffic. Canali laying it off. And cross across the mouth of goal. It wasn't met at the back post. Alarcon.
Well, and I love this combination because it's finding the foot of Canali and then she's able to combine. It's a really nice run coming off the foot there. And it's a good, quick separation step there from Alarcon. Unfortunately, just misses wide. But that's where we see Canali playing a little bit more of playmaker and she's able to pull defenders, and then it opens up space for Alarcon running forward out of the midfield.
Much more than a target forward or just an out-and-out number 9. She can drop back and create, and dribble, take defenders on. And there's the first foul of the night committed by Virginia Tech. And Anna Weir will go in the referee's book. First yellow card of the match.
Well, and Weir's just beat. She's out of position, completely gets beat. She knows she is, and I don't really think there's a need for that foul, quite frankly. She's beat. Just continue to work hard behind it. There's also another defender waiting there for the Miami player getting forward. But Virginia Tech, it did take a while to get that first foul. Usually it happens a lot earlier in the game. So, yeah, first one in the books.
It's catapulted into the 18, and Hargrove will watch it out. And one thing that Sugar Adair said to us about his senior goalkeeper Hargrove is that she hasn't really been tested quite as much as some of their other goalkeepers in the past, particularly this season, and that's held true tonight. Miami have barely had a sight of goal. Fairly comfortable for Hargrove. Sometimes that's tougher for a goalkeeper to stay cold. You don't touch the ball with your hands all that much and have to stay sharp when that chance does come.
Well, and that can be said for in a game. It's harder if there's a chance in a game, but also when it comes to just the season. Because then if there's a difficult opponent, if Hargrove has gone multiple games, if not most of the season, without being tested consistently, are you sure she's ready for the big moments? And I think Virginia Tech does a nice job of keeping things competitive. And we know that there's also a bit of a goalkeeper battle. And so she definitely is being pushed there. It's just you cannot replicate a game. And that's just when you need Hargrove to make sure she's stepping up in every moment. Mickey Easter continues to push her as a backup goalkeeper, and when she does have those moments in the games, you need her to be able to respond.
There's Miami's McCartney to clear the danger out of the back. Grace Huron challenging in the midfield. I'll let it go on. And it's won back expertly by Eden Skyers, English fullback. Wonderful first touch by McCartney, but the pass is nearly given away. Good effort by Kay to shield the ball. Ushered it out of play.
I really like what I've seen from Kay. She's been a bit quiet. She hasn't gotten forward a ton like we saw her early on in the first half, but she's done the work defensively. She's very quick, and she's not afraid to get into a tackle. I've been impressed with what I've seen from the left back, Jessica Kay.
Foley sprays it wide. Nowakowski. Marshall. Tizali George. Crosses an inviting one. It's loose inside the 18. It was dealt with by Salas. And Grace Huron sends this one away. She is that midfield destroyer for UM. It's that combination of Crosby Nicholson and Grace Huron. Nicholson more of a deep line playmaker, more willing to get forward. Huron more of a stopper. Here's Valente out wide, inviting Kay to dance. Valente with her left, and Kay gets her just in time. She's running herself ragged, doing a wonderful job defensively. Pilkowski. Here's Marshall. Ball floated forward into the 18 and appeals for the offside as the flag does come up against Taylor Price. She's had a long road back after suffering an injury at Boston College last season. Ended her campaign, had to wait something like 9-10 months for preseason to start up this season. Just a brilliant moment for her against Louisville to get that first career hat trick after all that work to get back on the pitch. Tonight her 8th start this season. 4 goals to her name following that hat trick. Alarcon. He's got a wonderful understanding with Canali. Pelkowski wins just about anything that comes near her, doesn't she?
Yeah, and it's a great entry ball too. So she's not just winning the ball defensively, but she has the vision, and it's so direct and quick the way that she looked to go forward. And I think we've also seen Miami do that a bit, though. And most of it has been from Alarcon combining with Canali, but it's the direct entry ball to the forwards and those players holding it up, and that's what's allowed both sides to have a little bit more of an attack early on in the second half.
Started every game this season for Virginia Tech, Pelkowski. And will probably start every one in the foreseeable future this senior year. Valente skipping past the initial challenge and does draw the foul. Just saw Kozarski, the guilty party. So Kylie Marshall standing over the ball. Catapulted to the edge of the area. It's loose now for Valente. It's Natalie Mitchell on the end of it, but just leaning back and skies it over the crossbar.
Well, and that's one that falls right to the foot of Mitchell. She's wide open, does a nice job of buying herself time, lets that ball come across her body and just hits under it. A really good win from Rosenbaum right at the top of the 18. That's one that has to go away. And Mitchell is the player that Virginia Tech relies on. She creates so many chances, but it has to be cleaner in the final bit because that last touch just pops it over the bar.
So JJ and Daw back in, replacing Grace Huron. Shots now 10-2 in Virginia Tech's favor. Maddie Landers has checked into the game for the first time tonight as well. She replaces Sierra Alarcon.
And I'm a little surprised to see Alarcon go out because I think she's created a lot for Miami. But I'm adding in Landers, a player who transferred in from Boston College. She's familiar with the ACC. I'm interested in the energy that she can inject into this game. But I did think a lot of the momentum from Miami was coming with Alarcon combining up top with Canali.
That's that chemistry that haven't really seen from any other combination of 2 attackers for Miami. We've seen it from Virginia Tech with Rosenbaum and Mitchell. In fact, it's gone in both directions. Rosenbaum, who is from Richmond, Virginia, and was recruited by Virginia Tech as a youth player, but opted instead to go to Wisconsin, came available in the transfer portal, and ended up where she probably always belonged. Talk about a ball-winning striker, and we saw really good vision of that with that ball she knotted down into the path of Mitchell. Slided forward, loose into the 18, and that's when Foley comes out to collect.
We've seen a bit of a shift in the last couple minutes with Virginia Tech. They're now looking for that ball into the front runners, and they're looking to play it with pace, but directly into the center of the field. And I like the idea of that first touch from Price. It's a little bit heavy-footed, and then it's able to be picked up by Foley, but that's not a bad idea.
Well, this Saturday morning, 11 a.m. Eastern, the ACC Huddle crew gets you all ready for a full day of football with a 60-minute pregame show. That'll lead into Virginia hosting Boston College at noon. And they're back at 6:30 to wrap up the afternoon with highlights and analysis. And they'll get you ready for Duke against Georgia Tech at 8. And after the game, stay right here on ACC Network for a full post-game show to wrap up the entire day's action. Here's Miami with a foray forward, trying to break the deadlock. Back post. Chased down by Kozarski. Wonderful defensive effort to deny her, and they get tangled up. This is going to go against Kozarski. It's Allie George, the 1v1 defending. Virginia Tech family through and through, and athletic family through and through. Mom, dad, and brother all collegiate athletes. Valente. Skozarski sends it forward, but there's no one there.
Your attention, please. Substitution for Virginia Tech.
So a double change for Virginia Tech.
In number 19.
Sam de Guzman checking back in.
Out number 3, Hannah Wu. In number 29.
And so too is Kendall D'Amelio. Salas. JJ and Daw was chasing that down, didn't get there. So look at the shot disparity between Virginia Tech and Miami, 10-2. 6 of those on target. All 6 of those shots on target within the opening half.
And that's just where they can be more fine-tuned, because to have 6 shots on frame, nothing to show for it. And there has been so much time spent in the attacking third for Virginia Tech. It almost makes you feel Miami's almost been more threatening with their few opportunities than Virginia Tech has with all that they've put in the box. And I'm kind of just, I expected Virginia Tech just to be a little bit more precise, I would say, whether with their passes or just in their decision making. And I think Miami, we knew that they would be difficult to play against. That has been their MO this season, and it's their identity, but they're difficult to play against because they are a unit and they can create chances. And I just don't think Virginia Tech has taken advantage of the chances that they have.
Can Miami be happy with a draw, or is it more about the performance and the result?
Well, when we talked with Ken Messer, he said they look at the performance overall and the result. I think with one like this, they've had enough chances to be able to put one away. So I think they could be happy, but overall they're going to want this result, and they know they could have put them away. And I still get this feeling that they're going to have more chances, and it just comes down to Virginia Tech will probably have more of them, but who's just going to have that final finishing point? And I think some of the subs that Miami have brought in have made a bigger difference.
McCartney standing over the ball. Instead, it's Foley who takes it. Still loose at the 18. Not convincingly cleared out. Canali with her back to go. Canali, it falls for Ndaw, who's running out of real estate, and it's closed in. At the near post, Hargrove able to keep it out. JJ Ndaw. She hasn't had very many touches of the ball, but when she has, they've been dangerous.
But this is a good run. You see her coming all the way across the back line, and she gets lucky by a deflection. I don't mind the big first touch, just a little bit too much, and she doesn't have anyone else coming across the 6. But this started because Canali got the ball at her foot, did not have a lot of space, and still looked to get a shot off. That's what I mean when I say Miami's not going to have all of the chances, but they're threatening with the ones that they've had. I'm also noticing that the energy gets picked up when Miami does get a look on frame. And I just haven't seen that from Virginia Tech. And I think that potentially could come down and be a difference maker in this game.
It is a hot and humid night in South Florida. Temperature's only about 85, 86 degrees, but that humidity will wear players down. Even the goalkeepers are drenched in sweat. That ball just squirts through, and Foley happy to collect. Pelkowski.
Well, this is a throw-in, so this is a very deep area that Miami is going to have to get the ball back in play. So if you're the Hokies, step forward, send numbers up, and try to pin Miami in this corner. You also have Samantha de Guzman back on that right side. So I expect to see a little bit more energy coming up and down the flank for the Hokies.
One in the air by Ndo. Laid off nicely by Canali. It's a wonderful run by Ndo, who started the action. It was JJ Ndo against the world, so she'll hold it up. Slipped through nicely. Promising approach once again for Miami. It's Gallagher. Loose in the 6, and Canali couldn't find a sight of goal. Just ran out of the angle. Hargrove was there, though. Get a corner kick out of it. It could have been so much more.
And I love this hold up and combination play. It's a fantastic ball sent across. And we talked about Hargrove. Could she step up in the moments where she needed to? And this is an example. She absolutely does. Does a nice job just to get her body in front, because Canali beats her defender, is exactly where she needs to be. And that's Lauren Hargrove, who saved that goal for Virginia Tech.
Third corner for Miami. And swinger back post. Canali meets it. Kicked out by Hargrove again. And can Virginia Tech pounce on the counter? De Guzman. Kay scrambles back. How about that effort from Jessica Kay? Picks the pocket and comes away dribbling.
She's been outstanding tonight.
It's just beyond the reach of Gramble. Pass from Landers, doesn't find a target. Absolutely winded.
I mean, the work rate from Kay to track back and win that tackle. She has been up and down the flank all night. I've been very impressed with what I've seen from her.
Miami's ball via a throw deep in their own half. A few ticks over 20 minutes left. No breakthrough yet. It's a wonderful touch by Landers. Taylor Lewin is checked in to replace Taylor Price. It's been a little quiet in the second half. And here's that defensive effort from Jessica Kay a moment ago.
When she sprints, and then she has to slow herself down to get her center of gravity down to be able to defend, and then she's on the run again and goes in for a tackle. So that is multiple phases of defending. Oh, and then she wins the ball and is able to play out. So there's multiple parts there that make that really impressive for Jessica Kay, and I think just watching, it looks like a player who's working really hard, but she is so tapped into where that ball is and does exactly what she needs to do defensively.
It's lifted in by Gramble. JJ Ndaho was salivating at the back post. The ball just didn't get there. Worth noting, with 20 minutes left, Virginia Tech have only been shut out once this season. That was at Northwestern, a 1-0 loss. Again, 12 different goal scorers, 21 goals. Not tonight. Not yet, anyway.
Well, and right now, it almost feels like the tides have turned a bit, and they're stuck defending. Miami has a bit of a different pulse right now.
Second half, both of the shots on target we have seen have been from the home side, Miami. They've outshot Virginia Tech 5-2 after registering just one shot the entirety of the first half. And Canali came closest to breaking the deadlock. She was denied from point blank by Hargrove. By the way, here's our next ACC Network women's volleyball matchup, and it's a really good one. The number 4 Louisville Cardinals hosting number 19 Georgia Tech. And coverage for that begins this Sunday at 1:30 p.m. Eastern.
Well, Andre, these are little things. There was a deflection that went out on Virginia Tech. Hargrove coughing that ball up. These are little things that Miami has the ability to be on top of.
So it's blocked by Skyers. Now Lewin leading the charge for Virginia Tech. Finds Rosenbaum. He's playing in this space. More hope than expectation for Natalie Mitchell, but there does seem to be a really good understanding between those two strikers. Oh, what a touch by Canali. One of my favorite things that you could say, one of the biggest compliments you could pay a player in my mind is she tries things. Chance to try some more. She's kept out by Hargrove. Denying a long distance shot by Kuzarski.
And it's the ball played into Canali. We've talked about how that one has been on. And look at this flick. Remember, that's a freshman playing in the ACC who is not afraid to try things and continue on. I mean, it's so impressive just to see what she does. And when you look at her, she's not phased. She's not phased by who she's playing against, whether individually or a team. And I've also been watching her off the ball. She's locked in. She's ready for that ball to come to her. She is someone who always wants it. And with the clock continuing to tick down, she's someone I continue to keep my eye on, because Miami is not going to need a lot of opportunities to be able to find Canali in a dangerous place, and she can create. So the Hokies, as this clock's down or ticks down, they have to be locked in to her because she's a game changer.
Yeah, a lot of season left in the ACC, and she's already had 7 goals, more than any Miami player since 2018. Scored early in the campaign before conference play against FAU, Missouri, and FIU. And then a couple of multi-goal games against SMU and Cal. Big win is there for the taking in these final few minutes for both sides. Game starting to devolve into chaos. The Goose want a fine turn. Trying to use the full width of the pitch, but couldn't find Ellie George on this near side.
Well, and that's a missed opportunity for Virginia Tech. You see George getting forward into the space. That channel is open because of the work Samantha de Guzman did, pulling herself central, which then pulled Jessica Kay, the left back, all the way into the middle of the field. So I love that idea, trying to find that pocket then and opened back up, but that ball has to connect because it's a wasted opportunity.
The pressure here is McCartney. Canali a long way away from goal. Played forward for Ndaw. Look at the Jets on JJ Ndaw. Absolutely flying forward. Speaking of, here's Kay. As Sam de Guzman watches that out.
Attention, please. Substitution. First for Virginia Tech. Now number 24.
So Ava Arengo, who started the game, checks in relief of Natalie Mitchell. And so too Ciara Alarcon, returning for Miami. She takes over from Giselle Kuzarski. We'll see if they can find each other again. Alarcon and Canali early in this second half. It was that combination that was trying to unlock this Virginia Tech defense. Leeuwen making a nuisance of herself. And he still has some defending to do here. McCartney, that's expertly done. Into stride for Kay. And the touchline, Canali. Still Canali as she beats her defender 1v1 and a second. And a lovely ball for JJ Ndaw. It's a masterpiece if it goes in, and it just trickles wide. A flair for the spectacular from the freshman Giovanna Canali.
I mean, come on. Let's watch this in slow-mo, please. It gets clipped up. It's the ball right around. She's quick, but look at this ball that she plays in. It's the no-look, slip it back behind the center back. That ball is beautifully weighted, but it's the work she does before Canali that allows her to have this vision. She's not even looking. She knows that run is there. And just a step offside. That is the work of Canali. That's why you give a player like that the freedom to try things. That is beautiful, and she's a freshman. I'll just add that.
So a double switch on for Virginia Tech. Final quarter of an hour. Taylor Price checking back in, so too is Anna Weir. The top attacking options all back in to try and snatch a victory late in this one.
Jerry, I think what I also love about that opportunity for Miami is you can hear the crowd getting louder, and it's almost like it was getting Canali going even more. It was like energizing her along with everything she was creating, just kind of the maestro creating on that attacking side.
Pulling the strings for the Canes. And the offside flag is up on this near side against Virginia Tech. Gramble. It's collected by Landers. Look, the fresher of the two teams, Miami down the stretch. Playing on home soil. Shots by half. Look at the disparity for just one from Kay in the opening 45, 7. A variety of sources in this second half, but plenty of it coming from Giovanna Canali. She's had a couple of really good chances to break the deadlock.
And it's also been later in the second half, Jay, so it really has been a big momentum shift.
Again, Canali this time inside the 18. Trying to win a corner. It just stays in for Hargrove to pick up.
This is so small, Dre, but that's unacceptable if you're the Virginia Tech defenders. You have two players stepping out to Canali, and she's still able to get that ball across. I know she didn't have a runner. Hargrove was able to come out and pick it up, but that's just showing the difference in you're seeing right now in effort. There's a player like Canali who will create, who will do everything she can to try to get a ball in the back of the net, and Virginia Tech not going in for that tackle is a statement in its own right.
Tell you what, one of the things that Ken Masur told us the halftime break was he didn't want to see those long balls, searching balls to a target forward. He wanted them to find feet, and find her feet especially. They've done that. It's led to 7 shots, which is 5 more than Virginia Tech have had in the second half.
Well, and by finding feet, no matter who it's been, and yeah, we've seen it be Canali more often than not, it also then changes things up. So as a defender, you have to be mindful of Canali because it could go to her feet. And also then if they choose to play it elsewhere, it's harder to just dictate or expect where that ball's going to go.
Good vision from McCartney to find her intended target. Canali now dribbling at the defense. This is denied by Hargrove. Still loose, and a clearance at the goal line to keep it at 0-0. Maddie Landers on the end of the initial chance. McCartney hears the footsteps. And it's been Miami knocking on the door this second half. Can they kick it down?
The way this was set up is because Canali is allowed to turn and face up. So when she turns and faces up, she can then look to spray the ball wide. I love this slip ball, and it's the run that dictates it. Endaw's in the right place. You have to credit Allie George, though. She does the work defensively, exactly what she needs to do, which is slide behind the goalkeeper when Hargrove steps off her line, and she saves that one.
This was last touched by Adriana Serna, who's just checked back into the game. A well-earned drink of water for Canali.
Well, this is her most minutes in a game thus far this season. Her previous game high was 75, coming off 71 minutes against Cal. So she's working, and it's cool to see a freshman, too, to be able to have that impact for so long, so early in her career.
Natalie Mitchell and Ella Valente both checking in for Virginia Tech. Sarah Rosenbaum also back in the game for these crucial final 10 minutes and change. Valente now. Had it poked loose.
Additional substitution for Virginia Tech, out number 29, Kendall D'Amelio. In number 37, Sarah Rosenbaum.
I'll let it go in. strong in the midfield from Nicholson. Serna. Canali maybe starting to look a bit heavy-legged these final few minutes. You mentioned the most minutes she's played all season, and starting to take its toll maybe. Maybe not. Back heel. Finds its target. It's Serna. Crossed into the heart of the area. Now it goes wide. But it goes wide, having been touched by Virginia Tech player. Tori Grambo to take. Oh, floated up to the spot in the heart of the area. Choke there has talked about the conditions in Miami, the dimensions of the pitch, the heat and humidity. He's made 9 substitutions in this second half compared to Miami's 5. Try and keep those legs fresh. By the way, the pitch in outstanding condition. It was freshly laid in May. Not taking any chances here is Salas. Foley coming a long way off her line. Did well to deal with the threat. Mitchell. Skyers was hammered after making the pass. Mitchell's effort is blocked, and now Alarcón to build back the other way. Valente looking to run in behind, working against Kay. It's an inviting cross and not met at the near post. Collected by Serna on the other side. Back at the feet of Serna. Weir. Rosenbaum. He's trying to find Mitchell. Instead, it's knocked out by Nicholson. Rosenbaum again. This time she'll take it herself, and it's watched wide by Foley.
Andre, you can definitely see heavy legs are starting to take a toll, like you said, but you're seeing it more on both sides right now.
Yep.
Attack's just a little bit slower. The ball not getting past the first defender, and I think a way to see that is Virginia Tech. That ball overran the first player and also the second one. Players not holding their runs. And I think what this comes down to
of collapsing when she was tracking down Valente that last time.
Yeah, and I think what this comes down to at the end is who wants it more. There's 7 minutes left. This is a Miami team, a first ACC win. It can be Ken Masur's first win in the ACC as well under his realm. And Virginia Tech, though, this is when they want to leave Miami with the positive result. A draw for them will essentially feel like a loss.
Look out, it's Canali who's beaten the initial defender, and Hargrove came off her line, didn't get the ball, but Virginia Tech dodged a bullet. And a big grin across the face of Ken Masur.
Well, and Allie George with her second save of the night. This is a big tackle coming through, but it's Canali once again. She's the one in behind. Enda has been outstanding since she's been in the game. This ball over the top proved to be incredibly dangerous, and that's a hard tackle.
Third Miami corner kick. All 3 corners have been in this second half. In-swinger near post, didn't get enough on it. But rinse and repeat, they'll do it again from the same flag. all eyes on her. Swung in once again to the near post. Hargrove comes out, put a big fist on it. Flag has stayed down. Miami with a chance. Skyers dealt with it. Crossed in hard of the area. Knocked down by Canali, and at the back post, not able to get there was Adriano Cerna.
And it's the second ball that knocks this one back in. Canali just pops off her defender to the penalty mark. Barely misses this one wide.
Talked about who wants it more. One thing is what the brain wants, the other is what the legs are willing to do at this late stage. Less than 5 to play. Virginia Tech in search of a game winner, a late game winner, to save their blushes on a good first half in which they created virtually all of the chances. Had the pitch tilted toward Foley's goal. Second half has been role reversal. Miami with more and better chances, more control. Here's Skyers. Valente won't reach it. He does. Now Alarcon. She's beaten by Ali George, who's making a big impact in this late stage of the game. She's given this one away. It's JJ Ndall who's running in behind. Alarcon pouncing on the loose ball. Ndall. Canali waiting in the 18. Alarcon creating just a bit of space, not enough. Okay. Again, Alarcon on this near side. Slide it in for Canali. Marshall read it well. Canali back to goal, allowed to turn, trying to slip it through for Ndall. And still ends up in possession of the ball. Alarcon. Pass was a little shallow this time, Kay. Trying to create separation to deliver across. Let's get it to ricochet off her defender, and did she?
Your attention, please. Substitution for your Miami Hurricanes.
Double substitution for Miami as Giselle Kozarski will check back in. Sierra Alarcon makes way. And Kyla Gallagher replaces JJ Ndall.
Sierra Alarcon. In number 15, Giselle Kozarski.
And Kay will watch it out. It's going to be another Miami throw deep in Virginia Tech territory, deep into the match. Kay. Throw in after throw in, but they've been contained by this Virginia Tech defense. Fresh legs checking in, but offside has been called against Kozarski. Long spell of possession for Miami, about as long as they've had all game long. At this crucial point of the match.
Well, and that's a big statement, is they win it right back. Once they lost it, and then they're willing to do the work. And this is the first time I've seen some Virginia Tech players, especially the front line, drop in and try to win that ball in the middle.
This foul is whistled here against Crosby Nicholson. Miami looking to put players back behind the ball, not to be caught surprised. Kylie Marshall set to deliver. Ball floated into the 18 and plucked out of the air by Foley, who exhales along with the entirety of the Miami team. Only seconds remain.
1 minute remains in regulation. 1 minute.
There's two players running onto it now, 2v1, and dealt with in the end.
That's really well done from Valente, putting the work in.
Still some more defending to be done. It's kissed off the upright. Another corner kick for Miami. Not a lot of time to take this corner. It could very well be the last chance of the game. Hargrove working on her 5th shutout. Also whipped into the edge of the 6. Chased down by Alarcon. This is McCartney.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3.
And that should do it.
1-0.
Oh, a flurry of first half chances from Virginia Tech. Miami respond in kind in the second half, but in the end, Virginia Tech 0, Miami 0.